Yo, what's going on, guys? Koi here. Today I'm going to be talking about the Project Jojo Prison Break changelog update. So, if you're not into the whole boring spiel, this is the moment where you click off and you let the nerds tell you about it later. All right. So, first things first, we're just going to talk about the core demands that the developers are actually asking for, and that's for just more communication throughout. I think that since there's been such a dead zone, pretty much the community's lost interest, so to speak. I don't think this is the developers' intention. I think that this is just the way that they kind of set up this development phase, which is there's not going to be a lot of hype around it, but there's also going to be a lot of not a lot of interest as well if the content doesn't slap as hard as people want it to. Now, of course, they wanted to drop PvP before PvE, which is, a very niche part of most Roblox communities. But, that's when you should expect niche numbers. Not dissing the devs on that one, just showing the facts. You know what I mean? What happens when DBOG gets a PvP update? No one cares. What happens when they add Janimba to the game? Everyone glazes it, and that's where we have a really good time. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about these brand new changelogs that change the core development of the actual game and stuff like that, and move on from there. So, they're moving up on base movement speed, more mobility. Forward speed ramp up decreased from 4.5 to 2.5 seconds. Uh, remove the speed penalty when moving sideways, so now we're going to be able to move around a lot more. I think that this is actually really, really good. In order to actually make sure that PvP and PvE in the future will be as clean as possible, because I know a lot of people ain't going to be able to work with not just the jump and the dash. All right, some optimizations did happen for the map, of course. Replaced some of the Sunflower Field area with the Grand Morio Hotel, which is kind of sad. I actually enjoyed the Sunflower area. I don't think that one ever gave me any frame rate problems, but I'm guessing it's because maybe they left the shadows on and the shadows were kind of just killing it. But yeah, these in question do have a lot of more just quality of life changes to help with better performance across the board. Whenever it comes down to just future console and mobile stuff, whenever they actually fully focus on it, I don't remember if it's mobile. All I know is that it might be console. So VFX and SFX, many abilities have received updated effects. So this is just more of like a fix to the original effects, because I'm guessing like some of the effects felt out of place from the original, which is totally fine. Now that they change it, it's going to be a lot more clean, and they also replaced a number of voice lines, which is very, very cool, and added a bunch, which is dope. We got some lighting. Lighting technology changed to future, from future to shadow map. I'm guessing this is just this is a formality to make sure that the game runs as well as possible on most devices. Now, this is a big one. Players have complained that barrages is too easy to shut down with focus break. The aim is to change them, and stuff like that. So we're just going to talk about that. I don't really want to go through detail on all the stuff. If you want to read most of this, you could totally go to their brand new wiki page, which looks clean as heck. Today, the only reason I'm going pretty fast is because it has to do specifically with the website going on maintenance. Barrages now have proper animations. All barrages can no longer be focus broken, and base barrage duration shortened by 1 second. Now, remote control can no longer clip into objects using remote moves, and stands now display user tag names. So this is kind of sad. I honestly don't like this. This is the one thing I did not like about this update, and that's the ability to see who the heck is bothering you with the remote control. I don't think this should be in the game, and it should be removed, because what's the whole point? You're not supposed to know who the hell the user is, and the second you do know who the user is, you can harass said user the entire time, which is just going to make you having to switch servers more often being a problem. Because let's be honest here, you use remote control so you don't have to deal with people. But now that you kind of get rid of the sanctity of like the person trying to be as transparent as possible, so they are not bothered, or they want to mess with people, but they also don't want to know. They don't want people to know who they are, because that's going to be really easy to track them down, stuff like that. So I think this was a terrible decision, and the only decision I'm going to consider terrible at this moment. So next, we're going to go ahead and talk about Prison Break and the developer comments behind that and stuff like that. Honestly, I didn't play Prison Break last night because Prison Break broke last night, I believe, and it was just not that crazy. It was like I forgot. It was like overtuned. Like there was like a bunch of stuff that costed way too much. People were complaining that there was a lot of bugs, and it was just really, really harsh. I feel like there could have been just slightly more testing behind it, but maybe it's because the developers wanted to rush this out as soon as possible, or maybe it was just like they had it done and they thought it was ready. So I'm not blaming the devs at all for this one. This one's not really their mistake. This is just general Roblox development issues. Of course, nothing's ever going to go right with Roblox development. Um, so the Green Dolph Prisons opens every few minutes, allowing players to participate in a bloody riot for glory and rewards. So it is like a fully PvP area type deal. And with this mode, you actually gain currency through the prison shop. And this prison shop currency, with the prison points, you're able to get stuff like Requiem arrows, which are very, very important in the game, Aja masks, corpse parts, Dio diary, stuff that you want. And then after that, you also get the brand new ability, Joseph Hamon, which I do plan on doing a showcase for as soon as I can. I just woke up a little late today, so it is what it is. We already took a look at Joseph's Hamon. I will take a more in-depth look. I don't think that I need to really go deep into it now. I think I'll do it later. Items. Now, this is a very, very important part about this update, and that's to make sure that the items are as good as they are rare. You know what I mean? So, Requiem arrows can no longer spawn around the map. This can no longer is no longer a reward reaching level 50. I think this is stupid. Honestly, I think that the Requiem arrow at level 50 was just the perfect incentive to get people to actually play the game. Now, more than ever, because now it definitely guarantees tier 6 to tier 7 stands when used. I think that this is booty, and probably the second biggest mistake that they've made yet. I don't like that at all. Aja mask can no longer be purchased at the normal shop, but can be found around the place and from dummies. So you can still find that around the map. Added to the prison shop, which is just, it's there. Same thing with the corpse part. Added Dio's diary to the prison shop. Blessings. Now, blessings are, of course, the only things that are just going to get some minor changes here and there, because they want to think about this is another thing that the developers have been talking about recently more than ever, and that has to do with the fact that blessings in general and future content might get OP, because people want to live the power fantasy. They don't care too much about the balance. So it does look like if the devs want to keep a major part of the community, they have to focus on just creating a power fantasy that people will enjoy, rather than balancing the game for a PvP experience. Like it is what it is. It's clear. If you want a battlegrounds game, make a battlegrounds game. This is not a battlegrounds game. This is an RPG, and people want to become the strongest they could. And that's just the way that the community is. If they don't see it, then they're just going to go do something else. Um, so Heavenly Homing Range got decreased by 25%, which is a pretty big one. Anointed now modifies attacks to always deal 15% of the damage as a percentage of the victim's health. So that is very broken. We did get some major nerfs to Death 13. I think that Death 13 didn't deserve these nerfs. Honestly, it was a pretty fun stand itself. I know a lot of people enjoyed it, but it is what it is. Scythe can no longer focus break. Laiho damage decreased pretty hard. And then Reaper's Lullaby cooldowns adjusted to stop people from chaining invisibility endlessly. King Crimson with a much needed buff finally got that stupid time erase issue where it was like super easy to tell if someone's going to time erase or not. Now it's going to be incredibly hard to tell if someone's going to time erase now with a 0.35 second countdown. So very very fast now. The world over heaven. This is just a major major change to the game in general. I think that the fact that lightning rain can no longer be focus broken, but the range being decreased, this is a major impact. Now, if lightning rain was just slightly faster, this would be broken as heck. But this is just a freebie now. This just shows you how much they really want to focus on the powerful stand staying the most powerful in the game, and that also comes with reality overwrite punch being one of the most broken moves in the game, now being the most broken move in the game. Definitely going to that 50,000 range. That's beautiful. The world. The world actually finally got some much needed buffs and also got its new model change, which is kind of a nice adjustment. Is it like the most important? I don't think so. But of course, people want to see beautiful models whenever they decide to play the game and stuff like that. And that's totally fine. If they want to make these adjustments, that's totally cool. Let's keep that train moving. Time stop. Wind up duration penalty. Higher the special value decreased by 20%. This is nice. So what this means is the higher that your special value is, the quicker you're going to be able to pop a time stop, which is really, really good. Star Platinum. New model, new visual effects. Just a nice touch. Okay, so here, I think that I don't believe that Golden Experience needed a buff. I think it still needed a nerf. I think that it needed a buff more than it needed a nerf. Now it just feels worse than it used to. And after this change, it's just going to be one of the more worst stands in the game. I think these buffs are a little out of order, a little too strong for a stand that, I guess they want to push you into doing Requiem, but where's the change where you could stay Requiem infinitely? Like, where's that? Because Requiem right now is just a small, weak ability that people could pop and then instantly lose still. So it's, I don't know, maybe they'll make a change later. Magician's Red Firestorm can no longer be focus broken, which is super broken. I think this is going to put Magician's Red back on the PvP scale. Very, very nice update for him. The Emperor increased curve shot, cooldown of curve shot from 2 seconds to 4 seconds. Honestly, a much needed nerf. I think curve shot's broken as heck, especially when you match it with every other skill in the game. Absolutely beautiful, but it does make sense that the Emperor is going to get minor nerfs, of course. Okay, so we did get some cooldown increases for Gatling Gun, and it can no longer be focus broken, which is pretty huge. I think that this makes it a lot stronger than it was before, and I think that Gatling Gun is definitely going to be one of the more destructive ults in the game. I mean, barrages in the game still. Stone Human, movement speed penalty increased from 20% to 30%. This is just rough. The fact that they had a movement decrease in general is just much worse, especially now that everyone's going to be 10% faster. Doesn't this just even out at the end? Aren't they just going to stay the exact same speed as last update? Because it's a 10% difference between the two, so you tell me. Let's see. Rochambeau cooldown reduction from cooldown reduction on stolen move from 50 to 30%. Ooh, that's tough. So this just makes Boy to Man like a little harder to use, just slightly harder to use. Underworld, Jet Impact can no longer be focus broken. One of the more harder moves to hit, but it's kind of nice that it can no longer be focus broken. Kind of a nice touch. Some major changes to Tusk. Tusk got some major changes. And this is because Tusk has always been that big baddie in the entire game. Very, very strong ability and stuff. Very, very broken. So now it's finally gotten its nerf. Nail Shotgun, damage decreased, damage decreased from 5,000 to 4,000. Infinity Breaker, damage increased to 41,000. Instant kill threshold marked at the opponent's increased from 10 to 30% of max HP. but the cooldown increased to 18 to almost 30 seconds, which is pretty crazy. Which makes Infinity Breaker one of the best slash worst, one of the strongest abilities. I can't say it makes it worse. I think it's just going to be much harder to use, especially since most fights end within like a minute or two. So you have to time these incredibly well. I think that this is a really, really good change, though, for Tusk to not be too broken. Infinite Wormhole. Um, so now the animation speed did get fixed. Kind of a nice touch. All right, so next we're going to go ahead and just kind of like play the game in the next video, so I hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you guys either during stream or whenever we actually play the game. I'll see you guys later. Take it easy and peace.